precursor here that everything we say is in Minecraft and it is all alleged, and we don't support or believe any of it. This is just stuff we found on the internet. And if either one of us ends up Uno reversed in any way, it was not us.
Absolutely not. I'm pretty content at the moment.
Yeah, life is chilling.
I'm fine. And that's what somebody I'll be talking about later said also, and then they wound up Uno reversed. So
Same. So that's really comforting that we're just
yeah.
following in the footsteps of the great, you know?
I wouldn't say the great. On that note, welcome back to the Thought Void podcast.
Ba-na-na.
I'm pretty sure we fixed our audio issues that we had last week. Hopefully today we have smooth sailing. And I'm Vance Miller, and
My name is also Vance Miller.
that is the other host, Vance Miller the fourth.
Yes, just a father and son podcast.
The Clinton body count is a
Yeah, it's
very
gonna
good
be
bonding
awesome.
moment for us.
I feel like this is just going to bring the family closer together, you know?
Or it's going to completely separate us, if you know what I mean.
I feel like that definitely could happen.
Let's get into this thing.
Okay, so there are allegedly tons, like dozens and dozens of deaths associated with the Clintons, and some sources even claim that there are around 100, allegedly, 100 deaths connected to the Clintons.
Directly to them.
Yeah, like you can find a direct line involving one of them at least. And if you don't want, like, we say allegedly a lot, so just if that gets annoying, that sucks because it's like in every sentence that I wrote today. So,
You know, we got to cover our bases here because you never know who's listening, especially the more platforms we get on. You can find us on YouTube now and Spotify.
Yeah.
So if you're on YouTube, come to Spotify. And if you're on Spotify, I guess go to YouTube.
And if you're on Apple Podcasts or literally anything else, still go to YouTube. We have the audio on YouTube, and then eventually we'll have videos of us so you can see like our notes and stuff. But
Yeah, we'll get there. It's in the works.
anyway, so a lot of pretty much most of these alleged deaths have some kind of strange mishap or some kind of sketchy shit going on.
A whoopsie daisy, if you will.
Like, ooh, that's not weird or anything. Like people being shot in the back of the head, and sometimes even twice, and that being ruled a Uno reverse. There's a ton of those. People dying who were like journalists digging up alleged drug and gun smuggling, allegedly associated.
We are the journalists.
We are technically.
And now we're going to get shot in the back of the head.
Twice. I can't imagine like being a journalist that gets unalived for this.
I'd be so upset.
I'd be pissed. But like that's like, I mean, the memes that say like that's like the biggest Medal of Honor kind of thing that you can get as a journalist is to get killed by the CIA.
Like, at least you knew you were doing something right, I guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of alleged sexual assault victims that were gonna come forward or did come forward that were shot to death. Allegedly. I even heard of a case of where some dude's head got cut off and then it was found so many blocks away from his body and they ruled it that his dog chewed off his head.
Yeah, and then this like took it a few blocks down the street and left it. It's wild. It's so funny what they write off.
Dude, I thought this case that I picked was going to be kind of like, oh, this is kind of interesting. It's going to be fine. But the rabbit hole just keeps going and going. I felt like I was schizo, dude.
Dude, you can literally write an entire episode about one of these people.
Yeah, you can make a whole show based on just this topic alone. The ties go deep. Like, I feel like this kind of touches on some really, really like crazy conspiracy theory type stuff.
I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's all connected. And yeah, it's a lot. But since we're roped in already, do you want to read your cases first, and then we can?
Yeah, we can jump right into mine. The first one I'm talking about is the Parkway Sudoku, I suppose, since we can't say the S word. On July 20th in 1993, the deceased body of Vince Foster was found in Fort Marcy Park, just off of the George Washington Parkway. He was in a nice little spot. This is honestly like a nice little pedestrian walkway. It's along the river. It's beautiful. And he was found gripping a .38 special with his thumb.
Okay.
And the autopsy revealed that he had shot himself in the mouth and deemed the cause of death was unaliving.
Okay.
Now, normally this isn't really a big deal because this happens all the time. It's not really that surprising when you hear something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
people Uno reverse themselves sadly like every day.
all the time,
And
constantly.
when you say like holding it with his thumb, do you mean like his thumb was on the trigger of
Yeah,
the gun? Okay.
like he was holding it like
Like
Lego
backwards,
hand.
like Lego hand
No, like if you
style.
hold your hand like a Lego, you could imagine where his thumb was on the trigger. You know what I mean?
You just got to give it a nice good squeeze.
It's a weird way to do it. I feel like that's a good way to like fumble
Fumble the bag and just make yourself, mentally disabled for the
blind.
rest of your life.
Yeah, like
Blow your face off.
it's already kind of a weird way to be holding a weapon, but we wouldn't be talking about this if he wasn't directly related to the subject. And it
Hmm.
turns out Vince Foster was the deputy White House counsel to President Clinton from 1991 to 1993.
And there it is, folks. That's it. That's the whole case. I feel like that's all you need to know.
Pretty much.
Like, I
That's
feel
it.
like as soon as it's connected that way, it's just like, that's it.
As soon as you hear Mr. Clinton or Hillary, it's over.
It's just, that's how it is. All
So,
right.
yeah, Vince oversaw business dealings for the president. He was a lawyer.
Mm.
It was very, very important that he did his job correctly,
Hmm.
since he was dealing with literally America's leader, and he knew a lot of stuff that he probably wished he never knew
Dude.
because near the end of his life
Hmm.
is when he decided that he was going to try to get out of the job.
Nah.
Yeah, and
Nah, you don't do that.
no, yeah, you can't. After you're in that deep in the weeds, you can't leave until the president dies.
Yeah,
Like,
you are.
you're not free until he dies.
You're not going back to the beaten path after that point, dude.
No, nope.
You can't just retire.
It's kind of like working the CIA. I feel if you just can't quit.
Yeah, you can't just put in your 2 weeks. Like,
They'll just.
imagine the stress level of that job, dude.
I know, because no matter how
Like,
much you hate it, you can't quit.
and it's like, even if, like, there was no suspicious shit going on, that'd still be stressful as hell. But on top of that, there's like all these rumors and like probably weird shit that he knows that he can't say or do anything about.
Yeah, and the fact that he knows that, he knows, like, since I know this stuff, I'm kind of trapped.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just stuck here forever until someone dies because I know things.
That I wish I didn't know.
I try to put in my 2 weeks and they cut both my feet off.
He's like, I need a lobotomy in order to quit this job.
I need to become disabled
Pretty
mentally.
much. So
That's exactly what happens.
it is.
He performs a lobotomy on himself.
He tried, but I think he was a little too far to the left with this one.
Mm,
So near
common
the
mistake.
end, yeah, near the end of Vince's life, investigators described him as being distraught since there was a whole controversy around the then happening Travelgate. Basically, the White House fired 7 employees
Mhm.
from the White House travel office due to supposed financial improprieties, and the FBI called them out, which made them rehire some of the staff that they fired. So there was basically some shady shit going on. They were like, we're going to fire you guys because we can't afford you. But then the FBI did some digging around and was like, you're just trying to allow friends and shit into office to
So it
pretty
was-
much make
Give your boys a good position kind of thing.
give your boys a good position, get more team in there. They were just trying to get more people into office that shouldn't be in office.
Yeah, because that seems kind of like a dumb reason to fire somebody in the sense of like working in the White House because
In the White House?
as like, special office members because I mean it's the government, dog. Like they make the money. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's nothing they can't afford.
Yeah, they literally just print it if they need more.
I feel like that's already like a massive red flag.
Yeah, it's like, there's no way you're firing me because you can't afford my pay.
Exactly.
It's impossible. They're already probably severely underpaid,
Yeah,
to
seriously.
be honest. But his sister mentioned that Vince was depressed and wanted to resign from office, but he didn't want to be humiliated when he came back home from his failed political career. He had a lot of pride in his job, and he thought if he quit and went back home, he was going to look like a failure and a coward.
Mm. I like don't know what it's like to work in the government, and I never will, but I feel like if you see some really sketchy shit going on, and then you're like, maybe I don't want to be a part of this, and you leave, I would consider that a win, you know? Like, especially with some of the stuff that we're gonna end up talking about. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily see that as a failure, my guy.
I feel, but the thing is once you're in, it's too late.
Yeah, it's
As soon as you
it's like the
sign
worst
the
frat ever.
paperwork to be like, I'm in the government, I have my oath, like you're fucked, no
Because
matter what. That's how people get drug into so much shit, probably.
probably, I wonder what kind of contracts you have to sign when you. I know you probably have to do like an NDA and shit, but like, I wonder if
All
there's
of
like
them.
a. I just feel like, why would you ever want that kind of job?
I don't know. I know people that have jobs that they literally can't talk about, and it's like,
Hmm.
isn't that kind of like a disconnect though? Like you can't talk about your day with your loved ones.
Oh, it's like, yeah, hey, honey, how was work? I can't tell you.
I
I
can't
don't
tell
know. I
you,
don't. I don't
otherwise
even
I'm
go to
gonna get
work
shot.
unless you want our. Both of us are both our parents and everyone that we've ever talked to be annihilated off the planet. I can't tell you.
It is wild.
Would make a cool documentary though if I did tell you.
So with Vince
Hmm.
having all this stress with work, he started therapy and he went to one session. And then after that one session,
Damn it.
he blew his brains out.
What a great. I bet that therapist was awesome.
Yeah.
Really resolved his conflicts for him.
There's just no way he did it though.
Okay. I mean, probably not.
There's no way.
I bet that therapist was in on it. Somehow.
Oh yeah, he probably told
Allegedly.
they probably knew that he had therapy or something because he probably did it through work with his insurance.
Mm.
And then they're hired or paid off his therapist to tell them information about their meeting. And he was probably talking about how he wants to retire and how he's stressed out about his job.
Mm.
And I bet if this is real, which is probably not, that's probably what happened.
Dude. Oh, I can't. It's
Just
all alleged.
Just think about it with like the insurance and stuff though. Like,
Yeah,
it would
dude,
just make
that
sense that they would know that he
they would
went
know.
to therapy. And it's honestly it's probably some bullshit therapy that like the White House provides.
Kind of like a school counselor, but like for the White House.
It's probably one person and they just tell all like the fucking dirt to everybody.
Dude, fucking Ron's a fucking lunatic, dude. He was in my office the other day. Dude's fucking crazy.
Literally just like talking shit about everybody. But technically, there is no evidence that somebody killed Vince.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about.
The newspaper immediately was throwing out articles saying that they think it was a homicide and that the Clintons were responsible. Even Trump's dumbass said it was fishy.
Yo, okay, hold on a second, dog. If your homeboy, if the Dons is coming out, it's coming out and saying some shit, you know, you kind of.
But also, it's the fucking Clintons, and he hates them.
That is. Oh, I guess that is true.
He hates Hillary.
What? Do you know what newspapers were? You know,
I think it was probably the New York Times and just like shit like
the big
that.
ones,
Like
maybe.
yeah, like the bigger ones that aren't necessarily like the Daily Mail. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, imagine like you get out of church and you hit up like a fucking local Ralph's, buy your 97-cent paper, and the first article is that there's this alleged killing tied to the
Hillary
president.
Clinton herself has killed 100 people.
You're like, okay.
The reason investigators deemed this an unaliving by Vince is it's impossible that the body was moved after the fact, after death. So it had to have happened at that moment.
At that spot. Okay.
And they ran the serial number on the gun, and sure enough, it was his gun. And they found his ripped up resignation letter in his suitcase, and the handwriting on it matched his own.
Do you think
everything lined up? But there was a smudge on the paper. There was like a big palm print smudge on it, and they couldn't get any fingerprints off of it, so they weren't 100% sure if that was his handprint or not. So maybe he was forced to write it. I don't
That's what
know.
I was gonna say. Like, do you think that they like drove him there and they're like, you need to write this, and somebody else ripped it up, and then bing
Yeah,
bada boom, you know?
exactly. And then just like planted all of his shit because they found that note in the suitcase that
Hmm.
was in his office.
So the note was already in his off, was just in his office and
Yeah.
not his car. Okay. So, well, I mean, I guess like he could have written it and then, well, here we can do like the theories and stuff after you finish these last few points.
It's still a weird death, even though everything kind of makes sense that it was by his own hand. But
Hmm.
in 1997, reporter Dan Modella,
Dan Modella,
kind of cool, Modella, that's pretty
kind of
dope,
kind
kind
of
of like
sick name.
Modelo, he was asked by the Regnery Publishing House to write a book about Vince Foster's case specifically. In Dan's research, he found that Vince apparently had blonde hair and carpet fibers on his suit jacket and semen in his pants.
What? In carp? Okay.
But none of this is like real. It doesn't really all matter. But the only thing that is weird to me is that he literally mentioned the fact that he wanted to resign, went to therapy, was depressed about it, and then he got murked.
Got. What are your thoughts? Like, what do you?
I don't know. I think it could have been his own hand, to be honest. I don't know about the cum in the pants. That's a weird one.
Yeah,
I don't know why that would even make sense if it
maybe.
was the Clintons or anything, unless the blonde hair is from Hillary going down to my boy Vince.
Dude, Vince. So okay,
He got the slob before he got
the knob.
the knob in the back of the head, I guess, or I guess in the roof of his mouth, apparently.
I wonder if I wonder if there's anybody in his life that had blonde hair that he was like was he married or did he like go to like a strip club and find somebody or to the bar or was he like intoxicated when all this happened, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was sober during all of this.
Hmm.
There wasn't too much detail on what he was doing beforehand. I think they just kind of rolled up and found his dead body in the park. And they were like, huh, this guy's
It's like,
holding this gun kind of weird, but that's fine.
okay.
Now, this one isn't too weird, right? It's just a normal
Yeah.
unaliving. But this next one,
Yeah,
okay.
lay it on me.
So this one is Jeffrey Epstein. And
Strap the fuck in, everybody.
this one convinced me about all of this, okay? Or
Ev-
I get like it, I don't know,
Mhm.
it tickled something in my brain.
Okay,
So
resonated a little.
we all know who Jeffrey Epstein was and what he did. And if you live under a rock, he was basically a human trafficker who had an
Yeah.
island for rich people, all the rich people in the world to go to and have their way with minors.
Yes. Dude, we could do dude, did you ever get like look into his like black books or whatever, or, like all the people that were on his plane and stuff?
No, but
It's a
they're,
big spider web.
yeah, yep. And we'll get to that in just a little bit, honestly.
Oh, yay.
So his cause of death was ruled unaliving, but it's really strange, especially when you
Hmm.
compare it to Vince's case, because Vince was kind of like, even though he is related directly to Bill Clinton, it's
Yeah.
everything kind of points to him doing it himself.
Hmm.
But the thing that kind of drags Vince into this, I guess, is just because there is a lot of self-inflicted deaths around the Clintons, and it seems like every case that involves it, there's just a little something off.
Yeah, there's always it's always well, that's the thing. Like these are the ones that we heard about, allegedly. Like
Right, these are the ones that we have the most information on, I guess, as well.
because if there wasn't that like weird one thing that's off or like some kind of line to be drawn, we would never hear about it.
Exactly, and we wouldn't be bringing it up in this podcast.
Exactly. So like that just makes me think how many are allegedly still out there.
Yeah, man, we might be next. So, to begin, Jeffrey Epstein was being held in solitary confinement, meaning he had zero contact from anybody besides whoever brought him the occasional meal, and I guess he
Mhm.
got to say hello to the guard every now and then that looked through his window every 30 minutes to make sure
Mm.
that he doesn't take his own life. That being said, he should have been super safe, but Jeffrey mentioned that while he was in there, his life was in danger.
You mentioned
Now,
that?
he mentioned that his life was in danger, yes.
Mm,
And obviously, nobody believed him because he's a straight up demon and is probably just trying to convince them to get out. But it
yeah.
looks like old Jeffy, his inkling was right. On August
Nice.
10th in 2019, Jeffrey was found hanging from his bunk. He had hung himself with a strip of bedsheet after the guards, quote, online shopped and left him with bed linens for too long unsupervised.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
dude, dude. Like, yeah, I just hit up some fucking Amazon. I came back and he was a goner.
So I found this new razor on Etsy and it was 90 cents. Do you think it's going to be cool? You just hear Jeff just jump off his bunk bed.
I can picture it in my head like if you're staring at from like if you're watching a movie, like there's these two guards like sitting at a desk like looking at this dude's phone. He's like, yeah, this I want this really cool mug that I found. It's got my favorite football
Just in
team
the
on it.
background.
And in the background you see Jeffrey Epstein just like hanging himself, but like nobody's noticing. He's just
Super casually.
like, yeah, dude, I love the Steelers. That's a really sick mug. You should buy that.
What are the
You can bring
reviews on it? He's just like tying it.
yeah, and everyone
He salutes before he jumps off the bed.
that would be that's okay. It's not a funny bit, but it's kind of funny.
It's a good bit. It's a good
It's
bit.
it's a good bit.
We'll keep that one for film when we get bored.
That sounds like a Three Stooges type skit a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Technically, Jeffrey was on self-inflict death watch and should
Mhm.
not have been left alone. But it turns out guards kind of forgot about old Jeffrey, which is kind of funny to me because how do you forget that you
Yeah, like
have one of the world's biggest criminals in the moment in
yeah,
your prison?
yeah, like he's all anyone talked about for the longest fucking time, and you just forget.
Like, you don't just be like, oh yeah, that cell is occupied. Duh, my bad. And then you walk in and he's just dead.
Like, yeah, come on, dude.
Do you think when he walked in, he was like, oh no, I'm going to be fired?
It's like,
Like, what
damn
do
it,
you think their first thought is?
I'm not gonna be able to afford the Steelers mug.
Yeah,
Fuck.
he has to remove it from his cart.
Damn it. I wonder if anyone got fired for that.
I don't know, because also,
Hmm.
adding to this, there was two CCTV cameras watching his cell, and they both malfunctioned, and the footage was lost.
Damn it, dude.
They quote malfunctioned.
Dude, dude, that pisses me off so much.
Isn't that the worst thing ever?
That is so aggravating because like that is straight just like they're just
Bullshit.
like
That's
like
so.
they, like they're
so
just rubbing it in our
stupid.
face, dude.
They literally might as well post the video and just accept the fact because their lying is so bad
Ah,
that it's like obviously some shit happened, dude.
come on, dude. Are you for real?
So the coroner ruled the death a self-inflicted death,
Yeah.
but the marks on this fool's neck were not aligning with the whole unaliving thing. Jeffrey
Okay.
apparently hung himself with a strip of bedsheet, but the marks on his neck were saying he was strangled by something much thinner. Strangled, not choked. On
Oh,
top of
bitch.
that, the blood on his neck wound was not found on the supposed bed sheet he hung himself with.
Dude, 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 are you fucking my ass right now? Are you serious?
And if you can see the photos that I put in the doc of his body, you can see the wounds on his neck are clearly bloody. Okay? And
Yeah.
scabbed over, and the bed sheets weren't bloody at all. And the way that the bone in his Adam's apple broke was not like other unaliving cases. It was directly related to strangulation deaths. Like being choked out from behind.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, like, not to be,
And look at the back of his neck.
yeah, I mean, the back is fine, which is like whatever, but like, okay, you see the second photo here, and
Yeah.
if anyone's watching this, we'll put them in the video.
Is that
briefly.
allowed on YouTube?
Oh, I don't think that's allowed.
This is a dead body. We can link it. I can link this article in the description, and you can put it in the YouTube description. They can click on it and look for it.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
So okay, you see this second picture here?
Yeah.
So you see like the bruise, and then you can kind of see like on the right hand side by the his neck right there. Can I draw on this?
I see it. The little
Little like
skin looks like it broke a little bit.
yeah, so it's all parallel, at least in my brain, to the ones on the front of his neck. Don't you think they would be at like an angle?
Absolutely, it would be at an angle.
And
And
then
that's some,
also, yeah.
yeah.
And then
They,
don't you think that like if somebody strangled him from behind,
that's why the
the
bruise
only
isn't all the way on the back,
yeah, would be on the front of his neck?
just like it is.
Ah,
Isn't that nuts?
that's crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
it's like perfect. It's like, dude, dog.
Dude, dude.
Now, if you're wondering where the Clintons come into all this,
Yeah.
according to some documents that were found, Bill Clinton
Uh-huh.
was reported taking trips aboard Epstein's private plane. Where was he going? Epstein Island, perhaps.
That's immaculate. That's
Yeah.
such a great feeling I
They
have.
literally have records of Bill Clinton taking Epstein's private jet to God knows where. And then if you look at these autopsy photos, it's like, duh.
And then if you think about it too,
The
like
cameras, and it's just like, dog. Come
there's
on,
too many
come
there
on.
are there and they just forgot about him.
And
Like come
everybody
on.
around them is either getting unalived or dying in car accidents. It's like, come on, guys.
Like we're not that stupid, are we?
It's so funny. But yeah, those are the two cases that I have. And if you scroll down a little bit further, we can put this one in the video. There's a
Yeah.
beautiful photo of Bill Clinton / Hillary Clinton,
Like a
oil
it's-
painted.
yeah, yeah. This one might like you know how in the YouTube videos we usually have like like the logo. Maybe we should just have this play for the entire
Just pointing.
hour. Yeah.
We want you. He's kicking his little heels around.
We could put like the word like subscribe on the top.
Yeah, like
Well, we want
arched
you
over
to
his head.
subscribe. Yeah.
But yeah, thought that was
That's
fun.
hilarious. So like also with all the alleged like sexual harassment
Yeah.
that,
Yep.
you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
It's just it's a little fishy in my opinion.
Of course it's fishy because anybody related or hanging out with Epstein is obviously hanging out
Yeah.
with his trafficked humans,
Yeah.
which are underage. It's bad. It's really bad. It's not you can't just hang out with this guy
And just be chilling.
and be like, "No, I would never do that. Gross." Because if you were against it, you wouldn't want to hang out with him at all. You'd be disgusted and avoid him like the plague.
I heard that some of the people like George Lucas was apparently or maybe not, maybe he almost did, but there was a lot of celebrities that took Jeffrey Epstein's private plane. And a lot of people say that Jeffrey Epstein tried to get as many like famous people to ride in his plane to like bring connections, so like to have connections to people. So some people say that not everybody on the list is a creep. They're just like, oh, I was going to this place, I need to catch a plane, and then Jeffrey was like, well, you can just take my private jet and yada yada.
And he also could be doing that too, just to make it look like
Yeah, that's
everybody just takes his jet and it's not weird.
because if there's like enough people, like who are you gonna be able to filter out, you know?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation, but honestly, just being involved around the guy is really not good.
Yeah. Dude. What are your thoughts on like I mean, dude, like the first case that you brought up, like I could see that being like an unaliving.
Yeah, it's kind of like, nah,
Right,
there's
or-
not really a lot there.
Yeah. But the second, like, dude, come on.
Yeah, Epstein, that one's
What
it's pretty bad.
whether or not, and then like, who's to say that was the, the Clintons? It could have been anyone else that he knew that was tied to whatever else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's probably all related to some type of Illuminati, I guess.
It all kind of ties back to like do you know what a cabal is?
No.
Okay, a cabal is a group of people who are united in something, and they basically, it's like this idea that a certain people group controls the world, basically, or controls something. Like the first two articles outside of the Wikipedia definition, when you look it up, is about QAnon and 9/11.
Oof. Yeah. Well,
So it just kind of ties back to like that.
that's, like I said, that's really all I have for the two cases. But if you want to get into your stuff, then let's kind of pivot over to that.
All right. So again, I just want to preface that this is alleged. Well, not really. Kinda. It is alleged, but I'll be covering the alleged killing of Don Henry and Kevin Ives. I think
The
that's how you
Dawn.
say it. The good old Dons. And the reason they're both kind of one thing is because they both died and or were Uno reversed at the same time.
In sync?
Well, we're gonna kind of get into that.
Okay.
This took place in Alexander, Arkansas in the 80s. Don was born Donald George Henry on September 30th, 1970, and he died at the age of 16 on August 23rd, 1987. And then Kevin Ives was born Larry Kevin Ives April 28th, 1970, and he died August 23rd, 1887 at the age of 17.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Were they hanging out together?
Yes. They were best friends, popular high schoolers, and they hung out like all the time. They were, finished each other's sentences kind of friends. Inseparable. Just homies.
Ride or dies.
Pretty much. And it's exact. It's a horrible way to segue into this.
I mean, it's real, man.
Because this rabbit hole is deep. So buckle
Let's
up.
dive.
So to keep in mind through this whole thing, everyone knows that Bill Clinton was the president at some point.
Really?
Yeah, I know, crazy, right?
Damn.
But he was also the governor of Arkansas from 1979 to 1981, and then again from 1983 to 1992. So just kind of keep that in mind. It'll be brought up again later, but
Wow, that second term is a long one.
yeah. I wonder what happened between that, like,
Yeah, what
18
happened for that
for
2 years?
2 year span? Like, what was Arkansas just like free balling it? No rule whatsoever.
Probably better off. He was probably at Epstein's Island.
Honestly. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave this state to crumble while I go.
I'm a fucking jet setter.
Um, on August 22nd, 1987, Kevin and the Dons left for a hunting trip with the intention of returning on the same night. And the type of hunting that they were doing was called spotlighting. It's actually illegal.
I was gonna say, is that not fucking illegal?
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, you just go out when it's pitch black and you just shine animals and shoot them when you shine a light on them.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
I didn't know that was a thing. And
Yeehaw.
so yeehaw. So they were out hunting, and they were going to come back. I'm imagining this is what the Sandlot. They were going to come back the same night, and when they didn't return the following day with no communication on staying out any longer than anticipated, the authorities were notified.
I'm surprised they got involved, being it wasn't like technically a missing person.
I know.
Because they're like, well, you got to give it like 48 hours.
You got to give it like a whole 48, which is the dumbest rule, in my opinion.
The first 48 is the most important.
Yeah, that can happen in 2 days. So on August 23rd, 1987, the bodies of the two boys were spotted laying between the train tracks, wrapped in a pale green tarp. Now, that's important because they were laying parallel. So like in between the tracks, not on the
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah, I mean, that is a nice way to sleep. You can't like roll off into the woods, you know, you got the tracks to kind of keep you in a
Keep you
nice little
safe,
cozy
you
bed.
know.
Got your
Yeah, just
tarp
cuddle
all
up with your
warm.
boys under a tarp, hanging out.
You know how much heat that keeps in? I'm sure they were probably
Dude,
comfy, man.
they were
Why'd
probably
they wake them
balling.
up?
I don't know. Well, they tried, and
They were just sleeping real
they
good,
were
huh?
just sleeping really good because the people on the train had made every effort to wake them up. Uh,
Even honked the horn at them.
oh, all the horns were honked, and
He's
they
just leaning
didn't.
out the window. Hey,
Hey, get
wake
off
up!
the tracks! And it's like from like where they were, you can't hear them at all. It's just like, hey, move
And he can't
off the
hear him because you're dead.
because you died like 24 hours earlier. Now, the train conductor claimed that the boys didn't flinch and they were just laying, like I said, parallel to the track, covered in a green tarp, and the train passed over them. So the train
Oh,
didn't run them over. At first, the local officials treated the incident as an apparent Uno reverse, and they reported no tarp, but
what?
they did take in a shattered 22 caliber rifle as evidence, which I'm assuming is the gun that they brought when they were hunting. So, just to clarify that.
Interessante.
Yeah. And I thought like there's no tarp, but the people on the train and the conductor and stuff like clearly saw one. My thought process is maybe when the train ran it over, the tarp was obliterated, or like because of the wind, it like shot off into God knows where.
Were they shot?
We're gonna get into this.
Oh, sorry.
So the doctor responsible for the first autopsy of their bodies, it was Dr. Fahmy Malik. I'm gonna just call him Dr. Malik for now.
Or Dr. Fammy.
Fahmy Malik.
Fammy with the fanny, you know what I'm saying?
And he declared that it was a Uno reverse and that the two had fallen asleep on the tracks after smoking 20 joints.
20 joints.
20 of them.
Where'd they get that number?
I don't know.
How are you going to smoke 20 joints?
I don't think most people can get through two.
Yeah, I smoke one to myself and I'm like, all right, I am ready for bed because I'm about to freak the fuck out.
Because I am panicking so hard that I might Uno reverse myself.
It is too dark in the apartment and I don't know where I'm at.
Can't tell if I'm blind or the lights are off.
So they assumed it was unaliving.
Yep.
But they didn't report the tarp. So I guess they can't say, yeah, they wrapped themselves in a tarp and then smoked 20 joints.
Dude, me and the boys are
too. They smoked 20 joints.
20 joints. And it's like, yeah, me and my boys are just gonna go lay down in some train tracks and hotbox this fucking tarp, dude.
We're gonna hotbox a tarp on the train tracks and it's gonna be trippy when the
It's
train
gonna be
comes.
sick, and when the train comes, it's gonna make us panic so hard we fucking die.
How stupid. All right, so let's get into I want to know how they were
Yeah.
what the cause of death was here. I'm curious.
Okay, so we got to do a little background on this Malik guy because he kind of is a big deal. He was Arkansas's state medical examiner, and as the chief medical examiner from 1979 to 1992, he was notorious for whack death rulings. He ruled a lot of alleged murders as unalives, and allegedly was responsible for a lot of corruption in the system in Arkansas.
Like in the medical system?
In like the medical system, or in like murders and cases like that.
Just covering up a lot of shit. Just saying,
they
did it to themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Nice.
Allegedly. This is a quote from this website that's linked here. More than 20 additional cases where Malik had falsified evidence surfaced in the news. His bizarre rulings included Uno reverse for a man who had been shot 5 times in the chest, and an ulcer from another man who was decapitated.
So they said that he shot himself in the chest 5 times and then somebody else cut their own head off?
Pretty much. That's
nice.
what Dr. Malik rules as a Uno reverse, which is, you know, that's exactly what I think of. When I see someone
That's how
get,
I would do it, man.
yeah, that's how I would just cut my head off. Easy, simple, no mess.
You literally wouldn't make it past the first insertion.
Yeah, like your body's not gonna let you do that. And then if you
And if it
shoot
did, you would
yourself,
die
yeah,
immediately.
like that, you would bleed out before you got through
Yes.
your entire head. And then
And
also, if like you're shooting yourself 5 times, most people are gonna get through maybe two and then just lay there in pain.
or do it once and be like, oh, I regret this.
It's like this was stupid. Not 5 times, unless you're on like some hella drugs
Yeah, unless you're doing like bath salts and you're eating your neighbor's face off or something.
while you do it at the same time.
Just one hand scooping intestines, the other hand just systematically shooting yourself.
It's like, why won't I die? What the fuck? So he's a reliable source for this kind of information, and a lot of times a lot of people wanted him to be fired, obviously, and the reason he
Why?
wasn't is because some people believe that he was being protected by Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton was the uh, governor at the time, and allegedly every time that Bill was pressed for firing him, like off the board, the board of state crime laboratory,
Okay.
um, he denied it, and then even eventually promoting Malik along his political journey. And another thing to kind of like put a little ribbon on that point is that everyone that was on the state crime laboratory board, Bill Clinton appointed. So Bill Clinton
Nice.
was the one who put Malik on the board.
He handpicked him,
Exactly.
and now he's covering for his
And now
ass.
this is all alleged. Just saying. So outside of that being connected, from him being connected to the Clintons, I found another pretty awesome moment here. He also is responsible, allegedly, for covering up for Bill Clinton's mom. That's what the article that I linked in the notes is about. So Bill Clinton's mom was a nurse and allegedly killed somebody in her care.
Okay, so as she was caring for a patient, she accidentally killed them.
Yeah, let's see.
Nice.
Taken to the hospital. He
And
was
it was
hit in the.
ruled.
So this guy was hit in the face with a brick, and then was brought to the hospital.
As you
And
would after getting hit in the face with a brick.
she was fine for the most part. I mean, you get hit in the face with a brick, it's going to cause some problems. But she did need a breathing tube. However, she died from cardiac arrest
From no
be-
oxygen.
because the nurse, this nurse that was doing this interview, claimed that Clinton's mom was struggling with the breathing tube, and she went into cardiac arrest and died. But
Nice.
then Malik, to determine the cause of death, just said it was from her injuries for being hit in the face with the brick. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So she was struggling with the breathing tube, getting it figured out in her face.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like she had no oxygen. So she went into cardiac arrest, as you would with no oxygen. But Mr. Dr. Fami over here thought that he would just rule it as something else.
Yeah, as that she had died from being hit with the brick and not from cardiac arrest. Oh, some people believe that this is sketchy and stuff because they didn't want Bill Clinton's mom to lose her job or to cause any more problems or cause any more rumors or anything about the Clintons. So they put Malik on the case to kind of like rule it a something that it wasn't, is like the theory. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how this Dr. Malik guy is connected to the Clintons. And as just a recap, he was responsible for the autopsy of the two boys, Don and Kevin,
That smoked 20 weeds.
that smoked the 20 marijuanas. So the parents of the two boys didn't trust his claims, and they wanted another look I mean, I don't know about you, but if my doctor had all these accusations, I'd probably want a second opinion,
Yeah, I wouldn't even let him
like
near
near
my
me.
kids'
Yeah.
dead bodies.
So they hired a another medical examiner from out of state. His name was Joseph Barton, and he found evidence of maybe one or two joints were smoked by the boys, not 20.
Yeah,
And
yeah, probably. That's a lot.
upon further investigation, Barton found that the Don's shirt contained a stab wound on the back, and that Kevin's skull was crushed by the butt end of a rifle, and their bodies were severely mutilated. And that
Shit.
he says that the two boys were either killed or suffered extreme injuries before being placed on the train tracks, or allegedly placed on the train tracks.
Yeah, because I mean, if they got hit by the train, the bodies would be evaporated.
Yeah,
But they were
exactly.
definitely just beat to hell.
Exactly. They like, and they were parallel to the train tracks, so it's not like the train could have hit, like, sure, maybe like a little bit, but
Yeah, why? Whoever put them there, why? Why
yeah,
parallel?
exactly. And
You had one
then
job.
the ruling the of their deaths was changed to a definite homicide via a jury.
Yeah, because the
So
jury is the people, which makes sense
yeah, because people aren't that stupid.
because we're not dumb.
And there's even claims that Malik allegedly tampered with evidence to fit his narrative of the unaliving.
It's just
Um,
like fucking with the bodies. It just
yeah,
like shoots it in the head with a gun and be like, "Look, this was
look,
from
he
the other
did it.
gun."
Ignore all the other wounds, but like, look at this.
They must have just went through some raspberry bushes or something,
Yeah, I
but
think down over here there's some pricker bushes that they must have wandered through because over their 20 marijuanas. Crazy.
they were looking for a sweet treat over in the prickers.
They were so high they just needed something. They had really bad cotton mouth, so they had to suckle on some berries.
This guy
Um,
is an idiot.
yeah, so it was ruled a definite homicide, my guy. So like these dudes were not
They were
un
killed.
they yeah. Um so then it's like why were these two boys targeted by the by anyone?
President.
Yeah, the Clintons. Well, the can you pronounce this? I can't. I'm not gonna even try to pronounce this right here.
Intermountain Municipal Airport.
Yes. Okay. So this place is notorious for accusations of drug and weapon smuggling, and
Interesting.
it's like you can. There are so many articles and so many fucking accusations about this place being tied to like fucking every mob boss you could ever think of.
Why this place specifically?
Well,
Is it big? Is it like a big airport? Is it a
I,
little airport?
so I don't know. Allegedly, three presidents have some kind of tie and controversy involving smuggling of some port and supporting it through this airport. One of them being Billiard, you know, and is there are claims that during his what do you call that? What do you call your term as a governor?
Yeah.
Bill was pushing and kind of supporting the corruption and the smuggling through this airport. And
He's like, I
apparently,
need my Adderall, bro.
I need my Adderall. I need my Viagra.
I can't
Um,
keep it up, and old Hillary's beating on my ass because of it.
Jeffrey wants me to come over this weekend. I can't keep it up. Damn it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um. And but apparently the two boys were witness to some deal, some kind of sketchy shit at the airport,
Some
and
children.
yeah, and that's what got them.
What?
And
Who the fuck are they going to tell? Their
that's
friends at school? Big deal.
and that's I was talking again with my girlfriend right before we started recording that like they could just play that off as some kind of like, if they come out with it, they just be like, they're just two dudes,
Some
like you
shithead
just
kids being
hearsay.
goofy.
Yeah. Now maybe their motivation was like there was so much heat on this airport and so much heat on the Clintons at the time that there's like no.
No
Because
chance.
let's say that like they came out with it, this alleged witness seeing of a smuggling of some kind, and an investigation went into play, and and it's tied to three presidents, the governor of the state, and this medical guy, and then
These
who
two kids just destroy the
just
U.S. with
yeah,
one tweet.
like yeah, exactly, like the whole infrastructure of everything that we live on is just fucking destroyed because these two stoners were like, dude, I think that dude's smuggling something in his ass. Like,
He's like, is this just the weed or
this is
is
the
this my
drug deal was
marijuanas?
the drug deal was them, and they actually got bath salts and started attacking each other because they were thirsty and thought the juices were in their brains, and that's how they died.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. Um, Now this case with the Dons and Kevin here are responsible allegedly and are connected to one, two, three, four, five other deaths allegedly.
Jeez.
So let's just run through those real quick. Um, Keith McClaskey allegedly witnessed the murders and was murdered. He was stabbed 113 times.
Wow.
Friends and family said that he would say things like that he knew too much about the quote railroad thing and that his days were numbered,
Oh shit.
and that if anything happened to him, it was because of the case, and it wasn't like if he was Uno reversed.
And then he was found stabbed 113 times.
Yep.
Sounds like somebody was mad at him.
Sounds like somebody had a bone to pick, you know. And then Keith Coney allegedly had information on the Don's and Kevin's death. He died in a motorcycle accident in which he stole. And there were reports of a high-speed car chase was involved, and during that chase he crashes the motorcycle.
That's weird. So either he was just trying to escape from somebody, or he was running on foot from someone in a car trying to hit him.
Yeah, stole the motorcycle trying to get
Stole
away,
the motorcycle. Yeah. And then just got ran down either way.
and then was killed, or by some kind of accident.
Or a tree, apparently, I guess.
Yeah. We have Gregory Collins. He allegedly had information on the deaths and was shot in the head. That's how he died.
Nice.
And then
So
we have
another unaliving.
another unaliving. Then we have Jeff Rhodes. He allegedly had information on the boys and McClaskey's death, the first dude who was stabbed 113 times. He told his father that he feared for his life because he had witnessed a narcotics transaction and was shot twice in the head, and the body was found burned in a dumpster.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that one.
Yeah, that one threw me for a loop for a second.
Found burned in a dumpster. Very nice.
And then Jordan Kettleson allegedly had information about the boy's death. And
So all these were
was killed.
related to that case.
Yep. Like
Damn.
that's what I'm saying. Like everybody that was like somewhat involved somehow in the information department of
That's
this specific case
insane.
are dead.
Wow. Isn't that funny? Just because some
Yeah,
two little boys saw a drug deal,
allegedly.
which isn't even that big of a deal technically. I see it happen all the time around town. I'm like, cool.
Every day, shit like this happens. And because okay, and it just makes me spiral too, because if say they did witness this and then the whole collapse of everything that we just joked about happens, they had to take him out, right? And so if they take him out and then there are five other people and then probably some more that weren't accounted for that knew something or were witnesses, and now they're all dead. Like they really were really thorough. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they found everybody who is connected in every tiny bit,
That's
and they really
it's
tied up every loose end. They tried.
seriously. They tried to at least. And it's crazy to me, like, how did they know? Like, did these people like come out publicly? Because I could see maybe if some of them were journalists or something.
They were probably just being followed around all. I mean, they probably noticed that they were noticed doing the drug deal,
Mm-hmm.
and then probably literally from that moment had an eye on those boys for a while.
Well, I'm talking about like, the Keith people and the extra deaths, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. They probably just had an eye on him and saw who they were talking to. I have no idea. It's crazy. I mean,
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like if
I don't know.
if anyone was trying to dig up anything at that time,
Yeah, like, do we
I don't know.
know who like Jeff Rhodes was? Do we know what he did?
Let's look up some of these
You know,
people.
like Gregory Collins. Do we know if he was a reporter for somebody? Because I feel like they would have to be working on the case or something in order to get whacked. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't just do it because he was hanging out with the Dons.
Yeah, like
I
they're
love
not.
saying the Dons
The
for
Dons is
anybody
my
named Don.
favorite.
Pretty
Um,
good.
it's just sketchy. And then I also read that around the train tracks and around uh the town that the kids lived in, the two boys, there were reports of unusually high military activity and like
Whoa.
military generals spotted at the train tracks and other like key points.
Dog, if they have the military involved in this shit, that
Like,
means literally like nobody's safe and nobody's gonna do anything to correct it. Like,
yeah.
that's not good.
Um,
If we're in too deep at this point. We already
this
recorded the whole episode.
we're done.
We're done. This is all over Zoom. They're gonna know.
I mean, this is connected. So, I mean, bruh. I mean, they're listening to it on our phones right now.
Oh yeah, probably.
There's probably
Siri's
someone.
smiling on
There's
me.
probably somebody in our apartments right now.
Somebody has like a gun pulled up to my peephole and they knock on the door.
I'm gonna turn around. There's gonna be a fucking CIA agent just chilling on
Yeah,
the
there's gonna be
couch.
somebody on my balcony somehow.
You're like, dude, how the fuck did you get there? You're like,
What the fuck?
I've been here.
Stab!
Oh, no, it wouldn't be a stabbing. They just throw you off after you get shot in the head twice.
And then they would say I unalived myself by jumping.
Jumping, yeah.
Two bullet holes in my head.
Seriously, seriously.
There's two shell casings on my balcony.
There's literally
But
this CIA agent standing there, like, yeah, I did this, and they're like, nah, nah,
he's
he,
the one
he
that calls the cops.
yeah, he. It's like, yeah, I just shot this dude,
But we're gonna
and they
say
shove it.
he killed himself.
What are your whole thoughts on this, brother? Like,
I think it's
what's
interesting.
yeah,
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but also I don't think all of it's true. It's more of just kind of a fun thing to keep all of us weirdos entertained, you know? The whole Epstein thing, now that one's a little fishy.
oh yeah,
But Vince Foster, my first case I talked about, he's who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I think the
I
boys are definitely sus.
hmm
The ones you just talked about, that's definitely weird.
yeah. I don't believe anything. I don't believe any of them. I don't think there's any reason to look any further into any of these. I don't think that. I think anyone that was allegedly accused of anything is just all false. And
Fucking
this,
innocent till proven guilty, I
yeah,
guess.
that's exactly my thoughts.
So
Now this shit's fucking crazy, dude.
rock on Hillary, I guess.
Rock on.
Rock on Bill Clinton.
You guys are.
Really killing it. But I think we should wrap this up. That was
Yeah.
our episode on the Clinton body count.
Again, all alleged. None of it's
All alleged.
proven.
Don't
all,
take it too serious.
It's all just shit you can find on the internet. It's just crazy to think about.
It's crazy. It's fun. Dive deep. Come back next week. We'll have
We
some interesting tales.
we really appreciate you watching or listening, and we hope you keep listening. I know a few people personally who've been listening and they enjoy it, so I appreciate you guys. And share this with your friends, share it with your families.
Yeah, check us out. We got a YouTube channel up. We got Spotify. We got
Yes.
Apple Podcasts. We got pretty much everything going. And also, if you're not sick of my voice, pop on over to my podcast, Less Than Useless. We would appreciate it. We also talk about killers, weird crimes, aliens, cryptids, a lot of bullshit. So pop over there if you're bored. If not, just keep coming back to us over here at the Thought Void, and we appreciate you either way.
That's all we got.
We'll catch you next week.